The hot seat for Billy Napier is absolutely scorching right now. And with the recent blowout loss that Florida sustained to Miami, 41-17 was the final score. It's pretty clear that Billy Napier is going to get fired. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. And when Florida does eventually pull the trigger on him and they give Billy the pink slip, who's going to be in line to be his replacement? I've seen a lot of Florida Gator message boards out there say that they want Lane Kiffin. I don't think that Lane Kiffin is going to leave Ole Miss for Florida. Lane Kiffin does have a lot of love for the state of Florida. I do believe that he has a couple of properties or two located in southern Florida. But the thing about leaving Ole Miss for Florida is that you're saying that Florida gives you a better chance to win than staying at Ole Miss. Ole Miss as a program right now is miles ahead of where Florida is. The only thing that you can sell Lane Kiffin on at Florida is that you're in Gainesville. You have proximity to the Florida pipeline where you can get guys from Central Florida. You can get guys out of Jacksonville. You can get guys from South Miami. It's really easy to recruit at Florida. But outside of recruiting, I mean, other than that, there's not a lot of things that makes Florida such an enticing job that Lane Kiffin should leave the situation that he's at, because Florida is a rebuild. It's going to take at least a year or two to hit the ground running at Florida. Lane Kiffin at Ole Miss already has built pretty much a playoff contender at this point. And if you were to leave that and jump ship to Florida, you have to start all over again. And plus, you're treated like a king at Ole Miss. Last year was the best season that Ole Miss football has had in years. So even if Lane Kiffin has a couple of down years, I mean, he's going to be treated like a king to the point where he doesn't have to worry about his job being in jeopardy. When you go to a school like Florida, you don't have a lot of time to turn that program around. That program expects you to have them competing for the SEC title within year two. And Billy Napier, I never felt like he was a good fit for Florida initially, only because Florida isn't a good job if you don't have experience coaching in a power conference in the past. Due to the pressure that comes with coaching at a school like Florida, you walk in and you see that legendary Tim Tebow number 15. You see those BCS national championships with Urban Meyer, Steve Spurrier. It's not worth it leaving a school that already is in contention to win the SEC, make it to the playoffs, and be a natty contender just to have to rebuild at a school like Florida where you're not going to have enough time to properly turn that program around due to the pressure that Florida puts on you and how fast they want you to turn things around. At Ole Miss, you're given a little bit more leniency than what you would be given at a school like Florida. And I really think that Lane Kiffin has it good at Ole Miss. I mean, when it comes to NIL money, they got no problem dishing out the money that it takes to get some of the better guys out of high school recruiting and in the transfer portal. Florida's NIL collective is like, it's a little bit weird because at one point when Billy Napier first got there, it seemed like their collective was unwilling to spend big on players. But then they end up paying Jalen Rashada like what, damn near $10 million? Florida, just from an infrastructure standpoint, with the athletic director and the guys that they have in their front office, they can tend to be a little bit chaotic. And for Lane Kiffin, you're better off just staying where you're at, especially when you think about how left things have went for you when you were at Tennessee, USC. You're in your perfect spot at Ole Miss. I don't see Lane Kiffin wanting to leave Ole Miss, have to rebuild at Florida, and take on the pressure that comes with them forcing you and rushing you to get them back to what they were in the glory days under Urban Meyer and Tim Tebow. So I don't see Ole Miss losing Lane Kiffin. If anything, they probably will match whatever offer Florida throws at Lane Kiffin. And Florida isn't a better job than what Ole Miss is right now in terms of where Ole Miss is with how well they've recruited, how good they've utilized the transfer portal, and they're in prime position to make a deep playoff run this year. Why would you want to start over again? You feel me? I don't see any benefits of Lane Kiffin leaving Ole Miss for Florida